You were set here to deceive me. I was set here to believe. Hey, nobody will relieve me from the rays of bleed. Hold on, I get hold on. Passing up on my hand, make me leave. Passing cost of my life, achieve. Break it to me, fake it to me. I'm coming to retrieve you. You really got away. Hey, saw me just like see-through. I'm amazed as you. Hold on, get up. Hold on, get up. Rising up on my hand with my lead. Rising cost of my life, I'll achieve. Break it to me, fake it to me.
Recorded live on World Cafe, it's YouBet with performance of See Through. It is from their new self-titled album. Nick Youbet and Micah Prusak are my guest from YouBet. I am Kaleo. This is World Cafe. So nice to meet. Thank you both so much for being here.
Our pleasure.
Thank you.
So I have to start with See Through. That song rips, and the live performance was great. I would love to know what the genesis of that song was.
Well, the genesis of that song was I was transcribing a Debussy excerpt. I believe it was a piano riff of some song. I don't even remember which one. And I just like learned the single notes that I had heard on the guitar and played them all sustained over each other. And I just thought, wow, this would make a really cool like song intro. And then I was also like listening to a lot of like the band Boris. And I just was like, you know, it'd be cool to make like a kind of similar groove or like fast kind of in your face thing, you know?
Oh, go ahead.
So the demo that Nick sent was called Boris Bear because you spelled beat wrong. Because it was like a drum beat that was ripped from a Boris song with like the melody ripped from Debussy, and that's how we got there.
Yeah.
When something like that happens where you get an idea that, I don't know if it seems wild or conventional in that moment, how far will you chase it?
It won't be long until not long, because like it's usually like a spark, and then with that spark it's revealed pretty soon like how I can make it my own.
Wow.
So once I get that spark, it's usually not long before I can like kind of figure out, you know, how to like put my spin on it, because I have like a bag of tricks that I've been using, that I just kind of been, like I have go-to ideas and things in my guitar playing, and yeah.
I've never heard any musician refer to bag of tricks in an interview, and
Really?
I don't want you to give up any of that, but can you give me another example of what something that you would go to as a tool in your toolkit, I guess, maybe?
Well, I'm obsessed with this like chord that
Sharp
has
11.
a sharp 11 in it. For all of you music nerds out there.
Is that uncommon?
I think it's
Maybe an indie
it's
rock.
a little out there.
Okay.
But
Indie rock.
I just love any chance I get, I try to incorporate that chord. I don't know what it is about it. It's like a sad, weird, dark. It's like it encompasses a lot of emotions in it. And I just think like, all the songs I played today have that in it at some point.
Very cool. If you're just joining us on World Cafe, we're talking with Nick and Micah of You Bet. Their self-titled album is available now. I want to talk about how y'all joined forces, but before we get there, I want to mention something that you talked about, Nick, which was there was a time that stepping out into the New York City music scene was an intimidating thing. What helped you sort of conquer that or get over it?
It took me a long time. I have a lot of social anxiety in general, and at that time, I didn't have like a lot of friends or any way to be like introduced into this thing. I just started going to a lot of shows. And I think when I started playing in like other friends' bands, like just playing guitar in other friends' bands, I started to open up and meet more people and make more friends. But I think it was really, once I started playing in other bands is when like I started to kind of get a little more confidence socially. Mm-hmm. But, also just going to shows for a while was good for me. Gave me some context of like the social apparatus I was a part of, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. And you've probably met a lot of great musicians from New York that you've worked with over the last couple of years. I know that Micah toured on Way to Be, but becomes a full-time member for this album specifically. Yeah. Mm-hmm. What, like I said, there are probably a lot of great musicians in New York that you could team up with. What was special about the idea of working with Micah?
So
they're sitting right next to each other. So this is the moment where someone has to compliment someone else.
Well, I mean, things got a lot more serious when we worked together because it was almost like I was just like floating in thin air with all this inspiration and musical material. Like I had all the blueprints, like so to speak, in like a manila folder, and I was floating in the sky, and she just like, pulled me down to the ground and was like, we got to do this, we got to do this, we got to do this. And so together we formed this like really nice kind of a complementary thing.
Oh, totally.
And just like a lot of humor. We have a very similar off the wall sense of humor. And I think together we just have a great time. It's like a party every day.
That's awesome. Micah, what do you remember about meeting Nick?
I was playing in another band at the time, and Nick's good friend was filling in on guitar in that band that night, and I was doing stage banter, and I made a kind of tasteful joke about his divorce, which I guess
tasteful.
Yeah, no, it was because like I made sure it was cool with him beforehand. Okay. I was like, hey, he's single. Like, ooh, actually his ex-wife is here, something like that. And and Nick thought it was funny. Nick was like, who is this joking about our friend's divorce? And I guess that endeared you to me off the bat. And then I had heard of YouBet before and listened to Compare and Despair and thought it was great. And then you asked me to play bass, and I was like, absolutely. Like, no question, I want to play with you. And then the first time you came over to my house and we hung out, we just hit it off instantly.
We did.
We hung out for like 6 hours. When we went to the park and back, we were just like hanging out all day. And I think we spent a lot of time talking about what we wanted from music, from life, what our vision was, and we were just completely on the same page in what we wanted.
Oh, that is so cool. So when did the folder of or playlist of Learn Me, these 1,000 songs, come into play? Was that pretty early in your friendship?
That's like my personal playlist that I've been adding to for probably like 6 or 7 years. And I, on tour, we'll like listen to it and we'll go through.
It's like what we listen to in the car pretty much.
And so just because I want to make sure I get this right for the audience, it's a playlist of about 1,000 songs, and the idea was that y'all would learn them to play together, right?
Well, It's a playlist of hundreds of songs. I think we might have exaggerated the.
Well, no, but it'll get to 1,000 eventually.
Sure.
It's not done.
It never ends.
It never ends. It never
It's
ends.
just like songs with the intention of. It doesn't necessarily mean learn the whole song because I have a separate folder for that too. I'm very like intense about organizing my influences and whatnot. But I will say like. It's very like we talked about with See Through. It's like if there's one spark, you know, and so I look for songs that have that one spark. And if I hear a spark while I'm listening, I put it in the playlist. And so the idea is to go back and sift through that song until you hit that moment that's learnable, and then see. You know, it's like it's less pressure than having to learn an entire song. But
Yeah, it's
yeah.
you know, any song, it could be terrible, and then there's one amazing idea, you know, that we can just, you know, draw inspiration from.
What did you learn about each other's tastes with that? Maybe not from that necessarily, but even just working together, because you talk about a nice counterbalance about how you might complement each other. Do you see that in terms of what taste you bring to the table, so to speak?
That's a good question, honestly.
I think Nick doesn't listen to a lot of indie rock. You know what I mean? I feel like you listen to a lot of other things, which is great.
Yeah.
It opens up our world of inspiration to so many other things. And I feel like I provide a little bit of context.
I would say that's
sometimes.
a great way of putting it. Yeah, because you are a little more plugged in into like, you know, the indie rock. I mean, I listen to some indie rock, but I would say I'm a little bit more well-rounded and of other genres. And
Yeah, and of course, you know, I enjoy many other genres as well.
of course.
I mean, we both teach lots of genres, but you know, what we end up playing is ultimately indie rock, and so I think it's important to, you know, be able to couch all the influences like within that. If that makes sense. Does that answer your question?
No, it definitely does, and it definitely speaks to like the complementary nature continuing to play out. And so, I guess I am kind of curious, Nick. Like, what are? I mean, you brought up Debussy, you brought up Japanese noise rock. Like, it sounds like that. Like you're pulling from potentially any influence.
Yeah. I really just listen video game soundtracks. I love classical music. I listen like, you know, Debussy, Ravel, Chopin, you know, stuff like that. Flamenco.
Yeah,
I listen to.
we listen to a lot of flamenco.
I would say flamenco has been like a huge influence on me in the last like 5-6 years. Just disparate stuff. Like I have this playlist called it's got a curse word. I have this playlist,
new stuff.
and
Context clues gave it away. We're good.
it's called New Stuff, and it's just all stuff. It's indie rock, it's classical, hip hop, you know, everything, soundtracks, movie soundtrack, video games, anything that I can like get lost in. I've been listening to Messiaen lately. I don't know if anyone's heard of that composer. Really weird organ music. Just really, I don't know, gets me excited.
Cool. You're listening to World Cafe. We're talking with Nick and Micah of youbet. Their self-titled album is available now. I want to get into worship, and it feels like I listen to this song a bunch, and like every time I felt like I was getting an understanding of where we were going lyrically, I felt like, no, maybe not. That might be too presumptuous of me. I don't want you to have to give away the whole thing, but what can you tell me about worship?
Well, I feel like listeners to my songs would probably say a similar thing with every song, because like the lyrics are often like kind of I'm just like stream of consciousness vibes. But yeah, would you ask what that song was about? Sorry.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was a long way of going. Help me understand what's happening in worship.
Well, there's a lot of themes. I would say there's the theme of like playfulness. There's the theme of like, you know, like cursed family trauma vibes. There's like the devil's in there. But it's all like within the context of like play and like pushing and pulling on this like evil and cute thing. I don't know. I feel like a lot of my songs have that kind of energy.
Did you want to add anything to that?
Well, I can only offer my interpretation, but I was actually telling Nick when we were rehearsing, I forget when I was saying this, but I think the bridge on Worship is one of my favorite moments lyrically on the whole album. Greedy little pig, capitalistic, blew my house right in. I think it's great, and I think it captures a lot of the truth of our beliefs, our energy, how we approach serious topics, and how the music complements that.
Cool. Let's take a listen to Worship. It's You Bet here on World Cafe.
There's no words to confess. There's no bullet to press that can bring me home. I'm as long as the road. I'm a buried code etched in your bones. Sometimes I forget what it's like to lose my hands in worship, praying for you to rise from the heat and flame, just to lick my face. There's no tongue to express how soul can possess such an ugly glow. I know what you did. You're your daddy's kid. Apple don't fall slow. Sometimes I forget what it's like. Lose my hands in worship, praying for you to rise from the heat and flame, just to lick my face. Capitalistic, miles right here. Just don't let me ride with me. Oh, I will sin. Sometimes I forget what it's like. Lose my hands in worship, praying for you to rise from the heat and flame, just to touch my face.
Recorded live in studio, it's You Bet, a performance of the song Worship. You can find it on their new album, which is available now. It is self-titled. It is the third record from You Bet. Nick and Micah are my guests. I'm Kaleo. This is World Cafe. Nick, before Micah came on board, how much of this record had already been conceived?
Very little, but there are bits and pieces. Like the chorus of Receive I had written like 5 years ago. I think Worship I wrote maybe just before I met you.
I think I was
Maybe.
I was already in the band, but we
know.
weren't like collaborating on that.
I had
level.
just moved into my apartment and we weren't friends yet, so I don't think so. Oh wait, no.
Yeah, we were.
Sorry. Yeah. Not much.
not much.
So how did Micah and the new partnership sort of shape what this record was going to become?
A lot of band practice and meeting up, and I think that just like having someone else to like bounce like all of my insecurity, like just be like, this is I'm unsure about this, but here's another option I have, just having someone like kind of be able to like help guide me and offer. Yeah.
I'm very opinionated, I would say.
Okay.
I'm very opinionated. When we were kind of hacking apart demos to turn them into more final ideas that we were ready to record, we did a few drastic things. Like we took the bridge of a song that didn't make the cut and smacked it right in the middle of Bad Moon.
Oh yeah.
So that happened.
I love a good Frankenstein moment.
Yeah, we did some Frankensteining together, I think. So while we were rearranging Way to Be, the last album, to perform live as a trio, because when we were in New York, we were performing as a 5-piece. And so the arrangements weren't fully worked out. Everybody was kind of doing their thing, and it amassed into vaguely what the song was.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, in order to go on tour, from a financial perspective, we like couldn't bring all these people. So we pared it down to a trio, and we had to rearrange all of the existing songs to fit that. And once we were more comfortable with that arrangement, we started to work out new songs from that perspective in band practice, as Nick said. So a lot of it was just like Nick demoing stuff out, sending it in the group chat, and then we would meet up and like, you know, hack it apart and figure it out.
House.
I would come to your house too.
There was many layers of like how we would do this. It would start at my house. I'd make the demo, and then Micah would come over, and she would just like, we would just like learn it together and play it, and she would give her 2 cents, like, let's do this here, let's not play this part, whatever, you know. And so we do that, and then we do that again in practice with the drummer. So it was just like layers and layers of editing and just creativity. Like my creative 2 cents was like, I'll write the lyrics, the chords, I'll make the blueprint. But everybody else, like, there's a lot of collaboration, like in terms of like how we put things together, you know, dynamically. I mean, like, I don't speak drum language, but Micah does. And so when we play with the drummer, you know, I can like trust her to help arrange the drum parts. Like, I don't have to be like,
I mean,
I don't know.
and not to discredit, like, you know, the talent. We've played with like a bunch of drummers in the past 2 years or whatever, and they're all amazing in their own ways. But, you know, a lot of the time we were like bringing them up to speed or like adding specific details. And yeah, I feel like a lot of that came from my brain.
Makes sense. Yeah. You brought up practice and how it seems to be a very important part of how this band makes music. As music educators, do you like the idea of practice maybe more than your average band member? Like, is that a place to get in the weeds, or a safe space, or a fun space to be in?
I love practicing.
It's great.
I'm a disciplined person, more or less. I mean, I feel like both of us are. Like, we thrive on being as good as we can be. You know, there's no worse feeling than you know, putting something out that you're like unhappy with because you could have done more. You know, I've had that experience in my life. So
But I feel like we always are doing the best we can and knowing it's not enough.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
As an artist, you like, I forgot who it was. It might have been Herb Alpert or something like that. And it's like, there's no such thing as perfection.
Yeah.
There's always just
Yeah,
practice,
right.
and you can get one day better every day.
And we're constantly discovering the ways in which our work is cut out for us, I think. And that comes down to getting together and working on it. Wow. So it feels like there is a mountain of things that we can do to improve constantly.
Yeah.
We talk on the phone about it. You know, like every couple of days we have a phone call. And
Every couple of days?
And we just... Yeah, we
You call me every day.
I don't call you every day.
Yes, you do.
Y'all are in conversation, thinking of. I love it.
Yeah,
I think that's what you want from a band.
Yeah.
Is that someone's just as eager and voracious
Yeah.
as you
Yeah.
are to
I
tear
mean,
into it.
We're really lucky to do what we're doing, like to travel and play and to do stuff like this and just even be able to just have something that we love that we can do in our room. It's like a therapy, you know? It's
Yeah.
like, I just feel so lucky, you know? So it's like, if we can just continue to work towards getting to do this thing, it's like such an honor. It's great.
Yeah, I think personally, and I can't speak for Nick, but I feel like my dad's a retired engineer. I feel like it's baked into me. I have this optimization imperative, is what I call it, you know, where it's like the main thing that's on my mind is what can I do better, just all the time. So and we share that.
And thinking back to that first answer where it was like, you had the blueprint and it's like, I need someone to help build this thing.
Yeah.
And that's so cool.
Yeah. Because my strengths are limited.
Oh, don't say that. I can't speak to what you made a great album.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You know, but I guess I understand what you're saying, like the strengths and like
I'm
nitpicking.
proud of my strengths, and I'm proud that I can create like I always say, family business, you know.
Yeah, I like that.
Just like I don't want to be the person that has to hound the venue like manager to like get paid, but like she loves that shit.
Well, it's just like someone. You know when something has to be done and it's not being done.
Yeah.
And like there's normally a person who's like, fine, I'll do it.
There's someone in this room that that reminds me of that. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for sure.
And so, you know, everybody falls into a role. It was like a learning curve. We had to figure out like what our strengths were and how we could best cover each other's bases. So
Yeah.
We had to scream at each other in a Cleveland parking lot. at the top of our lungs before we could figure it out.
Yeah.
I was going to ask if you talk like music educators to each other, like do you communicate like teachers, but maybe not?
Absolutely. I mean, well, like we use the music theory language.
Yeah.
Like that's a language we both understand. That's kind of how we
I mean,
bonded.
and that's what I like to teach my students a lot of the time. I go back to basics, in terms of that. But I don't speak to you like a student at all.
Oh no, I mean, not in that dynamic, but like we do speak, I guess. Well, yeah, like the language we've cultivated as educators does make its way into
like
our
when I was learning,
process.
like Way to Be, for example, I was learning the song Vacancy, and I was like,
play the 4 chord.
yeah, I was like, okay, so the chorus is Lydian mode, and then the verse is Dorian mode, and Nick was like, yes, and that gave me a realm within which I could improvise to play live.
Yeah.
Not every bandmate is going to have that knowledge in the back of their head to refer to and jump into.
Sure.
Is that kind of what you're saying?
No, I mean, some people can talk the talk. That's just how we communicate.
I
would say.
communicate with you that way. I don't.
Yeah, we
I
talk to
don't
each
always
other.
communicate to other people that way. I
Yeah.
know you know that language.
Yeah.
I'm a little reserved with it because it sometimes can come off as a bit much and
Yeah,
extreme.
it
Like,
can-
oh, what are
yeah.
all these words you're using?
Right. Yeah, it's just an easy way to communicate like note relationships.
And that's
it.
kind of how we bonded when we first met.
me.
Was like we immediately kind of realized we both speak the same language. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's how it felt for me. I was like, oh wow, I can like talk.
Yeah.
I could talk the way I would talk in my own head, which I spend a lot of time in there. So it's nice to
Welcome
Yeah.
someone in who can
Yeah.
pick it up right away.
Yeah, it was cool.
I do have one other question about the fact that you both have music education background. You've given lessons to folks and stuff like that.
Yes.
Oftentimes I always ask like advice towards being a better band. But in this instance, I'm actually curious about what's your ideal student? Like if I was going to take lessons, what should my disposition, what should my mentality be going in to get the best out of this experience, the most out of this experience?
I think when a student shows up with a specific goal in mind, so we're talking adult student here
Sure.
because I teach all ages and I have experience with all ages, and so with an adult student, I'll and kids too, but mostly adults. They know what they want to do, hence why they're paying out of their own pocket to do it. It's like I usually will like try to, if someone has like a definitive thing they want to get into, maybe a genre or style or loosely, give me a plan. And they actually work on the stuff I show them and show up the next week kind of having worked on it. I think that's my favorite stuff. It's because it's a two-way street. You can do all your best to teach, but then someone comes back, it's like, oh, I didn't practice. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
well,
Well, what
now
are we gonna
what?
do?
Now what are we
what?
gonna do? So it's I love when people show up and they know what they want to do, and they work on whatever we're working on.
I love that attitude. Micah, what about you?
I think my ideal student is actually quite the opposite. Personally, my ideal student is someone who's really open. Like, I want to learn how to play. I don't know how to learn how to play. Like, because I always tell students, I give them a spiel like at the first lesson. I'm like, in the age of YouTube, where you can, or like the internet, you can go online and look up how like technically how to do anything.
Yep.
You can look up the tab, you can look up technique videos. There's so many free resources online that if you are self-motivated and you know what you want, like maybe Nick's ideal student, you could go find it. And that's great. And so when I was getting into teaching, I sat down and thought about, why would someone take lessons in this day and age? What is something that I can offer which these ample free resources can't? And it's, in my opinion, it's like a roadmap to actually understanding and unlocking your own creativity on the instrument, because no one's going to tell you or explain what a bass tab is doing. It's like, and in my opinion, it's not enough. You can't really play if you can follow what someone else played. That's like mimicry. It's like everybody knows someone who, or this happened to someone specifically, they took piano lessons for 10 years. And they don't remember anything. And I encountered so many students early on who experienced this. They're like, oh, I have a music background. I took piano lessons for 10 years, but I don't remember anything. And I was asking myself, how is that possible?
Yeah.
And in my opinion, the reason that happens is because people are taught to perform at a recital and not the mechanics of creativity via an instrument.
Yes.
So that is what I try to teach. And in my opinion, the more open-minded someone is going into it, the more I can, for lack of a better term, I guess, indoctrinate them into like my ideology of like, it may not click at first, but we're going to do baby steps and eventually this is going to make sense.
That's really cool. And so fascinating to see that you have such different sort of ethos.
It's funny, we've never talked about it.
Yeah.
Well, so I think I do have an answer for your question, which is for the same reason that I see a trainer to work out.
Yeah.
And it's for motivation, accountability, and technique mastery.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
There's certain things where if
Am
you're
I
on
doing
your
this
own,
right? Yeah. You don't know.
You're like, I think I'm doing it right.
Right.
But that is so fascinating because, like I've talked to like a guy like Omar Apollo, who's an incredible vocalist, but he's like 4 years of watching YouTube videos every single night.
Totally.
And so maybe motivation isn't necessarily something a guy like that needs.
Sure.
Because they're motivated, but they need a path to go on. Like otherwise they'll just be doing scales maybe for 4 years and not taking the next step.
Yes. I just like, I remember I had a few students who could kind of already play when they started taking lessons with me, and they were quite good. And then I would ask them to improvise and they would totally freeze up. And that I was like, this is what we need to focus on then, you know? And that's my approach.
You're listening to World Cafe. We are here with youbet. Their self-titled album is available now, talking with Nick and Micah. We have one more song to get to. It's called Receive. You know, it follows worship on the album, and it feels like these songs might be in conversation with one another, but I can always go to, there's a Joe Pesci line from Goodfellas as well that struck my interest. What can you tell me about the song Receive?
Well, like I said earlier, the chorus of this song I had written maybe 5 years ago at my job at School of Rock teaching. I had some time before my lesson started, and I was in one of the lesson rooms working it out. And I remember like intensely, like really like just like, oh, I got to get this. It was like I was on the clock, you know, I was about to teach, and I just knew I had this idea and I loved it. And so I like wrote the chorus, and I tried to put it into several songs over the years, and literally it just like would never work. And then finally I found the Receive, I guess this song, it just kind of fit in. I wrote it as part, most of these songs are written in song clubs where like, you know, a group of friends will do like a private Bandcamp page, and like everyone submits, we all have the password, and then everyone submits their song for the week. And that was one of my songs. It originally was called My Way. And I mean, it just, the lyrics are a little bit everywhere. It's like, you know, in the verses, I feel like I'm talking about like, you know, just like my frustrations with society potentially. And the chorus is more of like a interpersonal situation that I had with someone. I don't know.
No, I think that's fair. Sometimes I try to be cognizant of the fact that sometimes songs, like, you wrote the song for the audience to sort of figure out what it means to them.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you can ask a question like this and be like, yep, here's exactly what it's about. And other times it's like, you got to figure it out for yourself. And I respect both camps.
I'm doing that right now. I'm like, okay, what is this song about?
Well, let's take a listen and we'll find it together. Here's Receive from youbet on World Cafe.
Teach our kids inside me. If I believe in them, receive maybe back with people that succeed. You, baby. I hate your guts, keep them my way. I told myself, but only halfway. Waking death on that way. Love this rest and drift away. Sick of it telling me I don't want this here. Don't follow your ways, mean nothing but true. But what do you really know about me? See through a filter out of everything. What did I say? I'm in trouble, it's alright. Break my head on Sunday. Blow my kiss, I'll doors open, watch me hop through. Sick of you telling me how to be like you. I'm not gonna blow my chance, no way. Hoping to leave out there someday.
Recorded live here in Philadelphia, it's You Bet with a performance of Receive. It is from their new album, available now. It's self-titled. Huge thanks to Nick and Micah. By the way, your drummer was fantastic. Who are we giving some love to today?
Adam Berkowitz. Our star.
Y'all were great. Nick, Micah, congratulations on the album. It was a pleasure to meet. Please come back and see us again soon.
Of course.
We'd love to.
Thank you so much.
We're back in a minute with more World Cafe.